Hello and welcome back to Sussexful. I'm your host, Emma. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Sussexful for truthful analysis, not tabloid fiction. Today's topic is a bold one. A TV presenter claims only Prince Harry and Meghan Markle can save the royal family. That statement raises serious questions. Save them from what? From their collapsing reputation? From the loss of public trust? Or from their own actions? Let's be real. You cannot save an institution that refuses to save itself. The monarchy continues to live off millions of pounds from UK taxpayers every single year, with little to no transparency, no financial accountability, no responsibility for its members' conduct. And still, the British public is told to support tradition. What tradition? One that discriminated against a biracial duchess and drove her and her husband out of their home? The royal family had their chance to evolve. They chose not to. Instead, they allowed racist headlines, lies, and targeted smear campaigns against Meghan to go unchecked. They watched as Meghan was torn apart by the same media that now pretends to miss her. The hypocrisy is staggering. Now the same press and palace supporters are begging Harry and Meghan to come back and save the monarchy. Save it from what exactly? The monarchy's own failure to modernize? The institution's cold indifference? Let's remember how Harry and Meghan were treated when they tried to bring compassion, inclusion, and transparency to the firm. They were mocked, attacked, and pushed out. Narinda Kaur may believe that Harry and Meghan are somehow the key to reviving the monarchy, but that's a fantasy. So Harry and Meghan moved on. They're now building global projects that, really uplift communities, promote mental health, and create real change. Meanwhile, the institution they left behind just continues to hide behind outdated protocol and, honestly, media manipulation. If the royal family wants saving, they must start by looking in the mirror. Admit their mistakes, take responsibility for their actions, show transparency in how taxpayer money is used, and, most importantly, stop feeding lies about the Sussexes. The monarchy isn't the foundation of the UK, the people are. If the monarchy refuses to change, then, well, it has no place in the modern world. Abolish the monarchy and let accountability replace privilege. Harry and Meghan have already saved themselves. The real question is, can the monarchy do the same without them? The Royal Charade, a system beyond redemption. The notion of saving the British monarchy is, honestly, nothing short of a delusional fantasy. A desperate attempt to prop up an archaic institution that has long outlived its relevance. This is an establishment built on centuries of colonial oppression, systemic racism, and unearned privilege, sustained by the hard-earned money of British taxpayers who, receive nothing in return except performative pageantry and an increasingly embarrassing soap opera of royal dysfunction. The Sussexes, who've been systematically vilified, marginalized, and pushed to the periphery, owe absolutely nothing to an institution that has demonstrated nothing but contempt, malice, and a stunning inability to evolve. Why should Harry and Meghan sacrifice their dignity, their peace, and their future to resuscitate a dying system that has repeatedly shown it would rather protect its own toxic mechanisms than embrace genuine change? The Royal Parasites, a taxpayer-funded charade of privilege. The British monarchy stands as a grotesque monument to systemic inequality, siphoning millions of pounds from hard-working UK taxpayers into an archaic institution that operates with zero meaningful accountability. Year after year, the royal family exists in a rarefied bubble of extraordinary privilege, consuming vast public resources while maintaining an opaque financial structure that, honestly, just defies modern democratic principles. Despite repeated public scrutiny and growing calls for transparency, the monarchy continues its business-as-usual approach, treating taxpayer funds as a personal entitlement rather than a public trust. The staggering annual cost, estimated in the tens of millions, funds an outdated institution rooted in colonial histories of racial oppression, maintaining a facade of national grandeur while fundamentally representing an exploitation of public funds that could otherwise be directed toward critical social services, healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The Sussexes beyond royal rescue fantasies. Let's be real. The notion that Meghan and Harry owe anything to an institution that systematically marginalized, gaslit, and ultimately ejected them is pure delusion. The royal family and British media have spent years constructing a narrative designed to destroy their reputation, launching relentless campaigns of racial microaggressions and calculated character assassination. Why on earth would they voluntarily walk back into a toxic environment that never genuinely respected them? The Sussexes have built their own powerful platform through Archewell, their Netflix docuseries, Harry's memoir, and independent advocacy work that renders the monarchy's approval completely irrelevant. They're not just surviving, they're thriving independently, creating meaningful global impact without the suffocating constraints of royal protocols. Their priority isn't rehabilitating an archaic, taxpayer-funded institution riddled with colonial baggage, but forging their own path of authentic social change and personal empowerment. The royal family's toxic implosion, a systematic rejection of change. The monarchy's refusal to evolve has crystallized into a breathtaking display of institutional racism and media manipulation, with Meghan and Harry becoming convenient scapegoats for an archaic system desperate to maintain its crumbling facade. After systematically pushing the Sussexes out of the royal fold, the institution continues its relentless campaign of character assassination, ensuring that Meghan cannot even offer a genuine smile without triggering a media firestorm of manufactured outrage. The royal family's strategy seems ruthlessly clear: destroy those who dare to challenge its centuries-old structures of privilege, particularly when those challengers are a biracial woman and her mixed-race children who threaten the carefully curated narrative of white royal supremacy. Every negative headline, every calculated leak, every sneering commentary represents another calculated blow in their sustained effort to marginalize and discredit two individuals who simply wanted to bring compassion, modernity, and genuine human connection to an institution more concerned with preserving its own mythology than embracing meaningful change. The crumbling crown, why the monarchy deserves no salvation. The monarchy stands as a decaying monument to colonial oppression, hemorrhaging millions from UK taxpayers while offering nothing but performative pageantry and systemic racism. This archaic institution has repeatedly demonstrated its fundamental inability to evolve, using Harry and Meghan's experience as a damning exhibit of its toxic core, attacking a biracial woman who dared to challenge its deeply entrenched prejudices. Why should the Sussexes, who were vilified, marginalized, and essentially forced into exile, lift a finger to save an organization that weaponized racism, invaded their privacy, and threatened their mental health and personal safety? The royal family made their stance crystal clear. They would rather protect centuries-old racist hierarchies than embrace meaningful change, rendering any notion of saving them not just futile, but honestly, morally repugnant.